Jerusalem, 33 AD. This is a city defined by the friction between ancient religious law and the rigid control of the Roman Empire. Inside the praetorium, that control is absolute. This stone bears the name of Pontius Pilate, the man who held the singular power to dictate life or death within these walls. In the courtyard below, the atmosphere is a wall of sound. Hundreds of voices merge into a single guttural roar, punctuated by the rhythmic thud of feet striking the stone pavement. At the center of this noise stands a man who has been beaten, kept from sleep, and stripped of all physical defense. Under this level of extreme trauma, the human body is biologically programmed to react. Adrenaline surges through the system, forcing an instinctive choice to either fight the threat or flee from it. But Jesus offers no reaction. By remaining completely motionless, he creates a vacuum of silence that the Roman soldiers and the angry crowd have no way to process. Physically, he is in distress. Heavy leather thongs pull at the raw skin of his wrists, while long spikes of thorn bite into his brow with every movement. This data shows a biological contradiction. The left side tracks a massive spike in stress hormones, while the right shows a steady pulse. He manages the physical strain through his breath, using each deliberate inhalation to prevent collapse. This specific posture of endurance matches a physical record written centuries earlier. The text of Isaiah describes a figure who would be led like a lamb to the slaughter, remaining as silent as a sheep before its shearers. The biological evidence and the ancient record point to the same thing. His stillness is a calculated override of his own nervous system. To the Roman guards, he is a prop for a joke. They drape a ragged purple cloth over his wounds and force a fragile reed into his bound hands to mimic the coronation of a king. The courtyard is a collision of different motives. Pilate views the man as a political liability, while the soldiers see an opportunity for cruelty. When they try to make him hold the scepter, he simply relaxes his hands. The reed slips through his fingers and rolls across the floor. By letting the reed fall, he ignores the mockery entirely. He doesn't need to argue with Pilate to show that the governor's authority does not extend to his inner will. The crowd's impatience is turning into physical assault. Dirt and stones are thrown toward the platform, and figures from the front row lean forward to spit on his face. He keeps his eyes open. Even with the reflection of the screaming mob visible in his iris, his expression remains calm. There is a deep irony in this blood. He is losing his life for the very people demanding he be executed. He watches the men shouting at him without the slightest hint of retaliation. He stands like a man observing a tragedy, his focus entirely removed from his own pain. His lips are set in a firm, gentle line. In this silence, there is no room for curses or defense, only a steady, internal focus on those he came to save. This serenity starts to change the energy in the room. When an angry mob is met with a victim who refuses to be broken, their fury is replaced by a growing, uneasy confusion. The trial concludes with two very different reactions. The religious leaders are satisfied with their victory, while Pilate is visibly frustrated by a man who refused to save himself. The hours of the day are steadily moving forward now, and the intended purpose of this sacrifice is rapidly approaching. This silence was a voluntary choice to accept the weight of the moment. By refusing to speak, he was actively stepping toward the end of his own life. The events in this courtyard were the final preparation. From here, the path leads directly out of the city toward the Hill of the Skull. He demonstrated power through absolute restraint. The hands that were bound in the praetorium would soon be open on a cross, finishing the work he began in silence. It is finished.